Okay, hey, we're here live at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium to see the Air Force Falcons take on the Navy Midshipmen.
Hello, everybody. I'm trying to double take here, and I'll get us on the screen. There we go. So, yeah, we're live here in Annapolis, Steve. I'm excited.
Yeah, it was a very exciting game between a 4-0 Navy Midshipman team that already has, I think, 3 wins in the American Conference this season, 4-0 overall, and an Air Force Falcons team that needs to kind of get going. They have some losses in the Mountain West. They start out a little slower, but honestly, beyond records with these two teams, it doesn't really matter what the records are. These guys are going to be motivated to play each other every year.
Yeah, no doubt. And you can see we have the dual shot. You can either look at us, which you're tired of doing, or you can, see what's going on the field. Steve's got his tripod set up here so you guys can see the warm-ups for both Navy and Air Force. And this is my first time here, and I think it's your first time here.
Well, first time here for a football game. I've been to 3 Army-Navy games, but they're always at other stadiums.
Right.
So the atmosphere is awesome here coming in. I've been on campus for wrestling matches, basketball games, things like that. But every time I've seen Navy play, it's been at an NFL stadium. And for me, this is just a much better atmosphere. We saw it coming in. There was an Air Force tailgate on the corner coming in.
Yeah.
Then we get to the parking lot and we see all the Navy flags and the, don't tread on me, all those, just a lot of cool stuff, cool flags. And the atmosphere is just great in here in Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Earlier, you and I, we took a walk and I was explaining to you, what the different signs were around the stadium and everything.
You were educating me.
Yeah, just a beautiful stadium, beautiful old, historical stadium that they keep really, really nice. They, updated on everything. Just a beautiful place to be, great atmosphere.
Yeah, so we're up here in the press box. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay. We're using these little mics that we can get close to our mouths. But yeah, we're just in the press box up here getting ready. We're less than an hour from game time. We'll talk about some the teams, the players, stats, do a true pre-show. But before we do, we also saw both the bands. Obviously, were here. They were doing a little band battle.
Yes.
We didn't know it until they were doing it and couldn't get over there to see it. But it looked pretty awesome.
It was cool. It was like a drum corps lineup battle or whatever. It was pretty nice warming up. I was telling JY coming into this into here because he hasn't been to many games of service academies. It's a total different.
This is my first one with the service. Yeah.
So it's always a total different atmosphere because there's so much respect between the teams, the fan bases. I mean, the roughest chant that you get is, beat Army or beat Air Force,
Yep.
Total different atmosphere than, some of the other rivalries of the country around the country. But in some ways more serious, more polite, but still just fun. Like everyone's just here having fun.
Yeah, we got here, 9 a.m., 3 hours before kickoff, which was perfect. Not too much traffic, got set up. I had to sit in the wrong seats because I didn't know it was assigned seating. Steve gotten us straightened out. And I want to give some shout outs here, Steve. We've got Sergeant Morehue is on. We've got Steven, Mario, Moses, Phil, Oh, my wife is on.
Oh, wow.
My wife.
All right.
Look at her. She's saying mountain. I don't know what that is. 10 football. Is that an
Mountain
airport?
West,
Maybe
Big
it
Ten.
might be an airport.
Yeah, something.
It might
Air
be what
Force.
she has going on there. And James Delaney is in. He's one of our members.
Yeah.
He's on our Discord.
I can't remember. Is he a Notre Dame fan, or is he the North Dakota State and Notre Dame, maybe?
Oh gosh, Steve, don't.
I
ask
know,
me
I
these
know.
questions. He's a fan of everything, just like me.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I was thinking maybe if he's a Notre Dame fan, he was trying to pre-scout Navy.
There
as
you
they
go.
Play them. Let's see. When do they play Notre Dame? They play Notre Dame on November 8th.
That's right. About a month from now. Tyler just joined us. We're up to about 55 people watching. I put the full screen
Oh yeah,
field on. Much prettier than us, Steve.
Yeah, get a really good look at warm-ups.
That's right. You guys can see what they're doing. Navy was out here well ahead of Air Force for the warm-ups. Not that it really matters, but that's what happened. Oh, here comes the band, Steve.
Oh, very cool.
Down there in the end zone.
Looks
You
like
can barely see
the
them.
Midshipman band.
Yep. Playing the drum cadence, marching into the stadium. Now, I was telling Steve when I was in Akron, I was in a booth and I could open the window
Yeah,
in front of me,
get the whole atmosphere.
and you could hear the band and the fans. We don't have that luxury, but that's okay. We're almost on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, my right shoulder is probably on the 50. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
the 45.
Yeah, close enough. All right, Steve, let's talk about some of these teams. I'm going to start with Air Force. If you don't mind. Oh, you have something else?
Well, no, let's just tell everybody the way we're kind of splitting it up this week is you're going to take the Air Force perspective. I'm going to take the Navy perspective.
Yes.
So we'll talk about the teams, where they're at, and what's going on. And you go first with Air Force.
You were right, Steve, about James, Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame. I thought so.
ND, not NDSU.
Okay.
So that I can understand a little bit of the maybe
I was
confusion.
thinking,
And I knew Moses is an NIU guy.
yeah,
I got to meet Moses next time. Well, not next time. Whenever I go to DeKalb.
very cool.
Well, you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So we're going to do a pregame. We're going to do a halftime. We'll kind of tell you what we saw at halftime. So if you guys want to come back at the halftime show, we'll do that. But yeah, Steve said Amy's Air Force is coming in 1-3. Only win was there in the beginning against Bucknell.
Yeah.
And then they've had 3 straight losses to Mountain West teams. And, they are scoring points for an Air Force team. Their lowest points scored, it's 30.
Yeah,
Which is pretty incredible.
putting up crazy points.
Yeah, pretty for Air Force. And then you look at the Navy. I know you're going to talk about them, but the highest amount of points they've allowed is 25.
Yeah,
So something's got to break here.
Yeah.
I will say Air Force has allowed 47 points on average in their last 3 games against Mountain
That's
West
a lot of
teams.
points.
Again, not something you're used to in an
No.
Air Force team.
49, 49, and 44, I think.
Yes. So a lot of points scored there. Now Boise, good offense.
Yeah, really
Hawaii,
offense.
really good passing offense.
Yes.
And Utah State, Bryson Barnes. I
Yeah.
keep talking about that kid.
Right.
Looks really, really good too. So we'll see what they got against Navy here, Steve. As you said, they're 4-0. And as I've said to you in our G6 power rankings, they just haven't played anybody yet that I'm like, okay, that was tough, other than Rice.
Right.
But I look at, they played UAB in Tulsa. They've allowed 24 and 25 points against. And no offense, they're not very good.
No. I mean, no.
I mean, Tulsa had that huge upset.
Yeah.
But still not a very good team.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was at Tulsa. I mean, it's a American Conference win for them. But yeah, their schedule's definitely been lighter than some G6 teams. But in the way their schedule's kind of set up, they've had a lot of in-conference games already. They got Notre Dame coming up later.
Well, the second half of Navy's schedule significantly more difficult than the first half. I mean, you mentioned Notre Dame already. They have North Texas, who's undefeated, USF, Memphis. Of course, they've got the Army-Navy game. Very difficult second half of their schedule. And Air Force, honestly, their schedule doesn't get much easier.
Right.
I mean, they've got San Jose State. After this game, they got UNLV. They have to play Wyoming, who's played solid so far. They got New Mexico on the schedule. I mean, I see UConn and Colorado State.
Yeah.
probable wins there, but they don't have an easy schedule.
And even hosting Army, maybe Army hasn't gotten off to the start that they would like to. But again, when the Service Academy plays, these two Service Academies plays any of the 2 out of 3, you can throw records out the window, and it just is what it is. So that could be another tough game for them.
Well, remember we got Zarka is the starting quarterback now. They kind of split quarterbacks to start the season. He really came on in the Boise game, played all of the Hawaii game. It's an Air Force team that now has a pass offense, which we haven't seen for many years now. And the kid can throw. And, he really likes throwing to Harris, Cade Harris. And he's little, but he can get open.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about that is we've been waiting for Air Force to develop a passing attack for how many years.
Yeah.
This year they finally have a passing attack, but now their defense is letting up all these points. So, and you have to wonder, is that part of, with the normal option game, you can really control the clock.
Right.
When you're throwing the ball more, it's harder to control the clock, maybe puts more pressure on the defense. Just wonder, and I wonder what we'll see today with these two service academies playing each other. We go back to just the traditional option versus option, or will Air Force try and keep the passing game going?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, when I look at the passing offense, what's it have here? Zarker's thrown 46 times. He's 67% completion.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Air Force the last 3-4 years, they're struggling to be at 33%.
Yes, yeah.
So to have that in their arsenal, and then running the ball, obviously he's also a runner. Carson's a good back, and they really kind of use Cade Harris in different sets and different positions. I mean, he'll run. He's listed as a wide receiver, but they kind of use him all over the place. And as I said, he's not a big guy, but I've been shocked over the beginning of the season how open this kid can get.
Yeah.
He's literally wide open in the middle of the field. So I'm anxious to see if that continues today with a pretty good Navy defense. And then they like to throw to the tight end, Fleischman. He has a couple touchdowns on the season. And then Smith, the other wide receiver, has 3 touchdowns on the season. So it's not just Harris, but I'm impressed with this throwing game, passing game for Air Force so far. And then when you look at Navy, it's kind of a historical Navy team,
shows is connected.
There we go. You're good.
Okay.
We're back up.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably always going to be a traditional triple option team. I would say, though, however, since Blake Horvath has gotten here and had that starting job, I think more balanced. You have to, just his overall game, you have to respect both his arm and his legs. But yeah, I mean, they're still just a traditional, triple option team. But yeah, and really balanced. You have all 3 of their top runners are over 250 yards with over 350 yards, but they're all averaging the top 3 rushers averaging 6.7 yards a carry, 5.7 and 7.7. So it's effective. But again, I think from my perspective, ever since Blake Horvath has been here and taken over that starting job, they're a little bit more balanced, and you do have to respect that, which is going to put more pressure on the defense.
Well, when you look at the team stats, the average points for against in the Air Force game so far, like 38 each way.
Yeah.
So just a lot of points being scored in their game so far. And then in the Navy, of course, they're 4-0.
Right.
They're averaging 38 points a game, only giving up 17. So I guess, like I said, with that passing game, something's got to break here.
Yeah, I agree. And that's going to be interesting. Does Air Force continue to throw the ball like they've been this year? But also, anytime you have the service academies play each other, one of their advantages when they play other teams is that other team's defense is not usually accustomed to playing against the triple option.
Right.
Well, these two teams, they're used to playing a style that's similar to each other. So that's always interesting. And I think that's kind of one of those things that levels the playing field. So that's why, again, I'm really interested to see, does Air Force continue to throw the ball like they have, or do they go back to their gravy train?
Well, and that's why I'm interested to see the pass game for Air Force.
Yeah.
This isn't so far. Maybe they'll go back to it in this game because it's a service academy.
Yeah.
But they haven't had that triple option kind of only type of offense.
Right.
They've been able to throw the ball really well. And that's what I'm just really interested to watch, to see if they can continue that against a stout Navy defense that, they've seen many times and every year, and kind of play similarly every year. And remember, I took the over on Air Force.
Mhm.
So
You did.
We'll see.
And I did remind you that the under for Service Academy
I know.
games is like 41-2 over the last 5 years.
I understand.
Yeah,
I had some people on X remind me that.
Yeah.
I think it was as well, or in the comments to that pick episode.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I think 3 touchdowns is very, very doable.
Yeah. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about kind of big picture, like G6 consequences?
Let's talk G6 consequences. I do want to talk a little bit about the Mountain West games from last night.
Okay, you
too.
go for that first.
But no, go
Okay.
G6 first.
All right. So we've been looking. We've kind of had this game on the schedule noted as an interesting comparison between the American Conference and the Mountain West. Last year, it really felt like the Mountain West was going to secure that G6 spot. We had Boise and UNLV, kind of neck and neck at the top all year. This year, the American Conference is doing amazing. We did our G6 rankings, and I think we had 4 or 5 American Conference teams at the top of the rankings. So, Air Force, with their record, obviously this year, they're not in contention for like a G6 playoff spot, but this kind of gives us a perspective of comparing the two conferences. Which, I mean, is the American going to run away with this? That's kind of what it looks like this year. Or, if this is a really close game, it kind of bodes a little bit better for the Mountain West, one way or the other. So it's just one data point in that comparison. But there's not a lot of American Conference teams versus Mountain West teams this year. You don't have a lot of crossover. So this is just one example we can look at and just see, does that American Conference domination continue? Or, is there any kind of indication that maybe the Mountain West is still ready to compete for that spot?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we had the very early litmus test, Boise versus USF.
Yeah.
We saw how that went.
Right.
And this is another one. And to your point, there's not a lot of them.
Right.
So if you are trying to compare conferences, this is and especially since now the Americans up 1-0 on it, this is a pretty big game just for the Mountain West in general. And I just want to say, Tyler says, go Navy. And we have Hard Rockin' saying, go Air Force. And he apologizes to you. Mm-hmm. But throw in the chat who you're rooting for in this game.
Try it now.
Yep.
I think I was getting a call, and I think that's why.
Cell phone.
Yeah, I'll have to turn that off.
That's okay.
Okay, what was it?
At least I can hear us this time, so I know they can't hear us.
So to that comparison point, because I want to make clear, we're not saying that we think Air Force is going to compete for a G6 spot this year. I mean, right. But Air Force does play UNLV a week from now. So as we see them, we can make that comparison. How do they play today against a Navy compared to how they look against UNLV? It's a little bit different because Service Academy games are always a little bit different. But we had that one early data point with USF and Boise. It was so early, played in Florida, first game of the season. And this will just be kind of another comparison.
Yep.
And for Navy, I do have to say, from the Navy perspective, they're 4-0. They already have 3 wins in conference. Their biggest out of conference games this year are going to be, they're going to play USF later, and they're going to play Notre Dame. Two really challenging games.
Right.
So this is an opportunity for them to get an out of conference win, which would be huge for them. Because you have to think, like, it's going to be hard to knock off Notre Dame. But if they can get to the end of the season 11-1 with a couple wins over American Conference teams, that with a couple wins out of conference, other than probably Notre Dame, that puts their resume pretty nice. Sets up the resume pretty nice.
No doubt. So you can see here we got players starting to come out again with their equipment jerseys, everything on, going to do their real warm-up. I got some kickers warming up right now on the field. Office. Here, hold on. Steve's trying to take a phone call. Oh, there he goes again. It's okay, Steve. We're still young and new to this. Well, we're not young, but we're new to this.
I'll have it figured out before our halftime, and at least our
No,
post
you're
game
good.
show.
You're fine. You're fine. And Tyler asks if we've ever come to North Dakota State. This is only my second time out with TBM. This is your first.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to get to more places. As I said, I've got Stevensville in 2 weeks, see Tarleton State, and then I'm going to the Border War, Colorado State versus Wyoming up in Laramie, and that'll be fun. But hey, we're here for the Navy Air Force game.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about maybe getting down to El Paso, see a game in the Sun Bowl. That would be awesome. And honestly,
Yes.
going to it's Colorado Springs where Air Force plays? I
Yes.
think? That would be phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of places we want to go, but we're building up slowly.
So Steven, Steven says he's good to go Air Force. Need an American Conference teams to start losing.
Oh,
Because of course he's a Mac fan.
The American looks so strong this year.
Yeah. And then who was the other one? I thought there was this Lindsey Young character says go Air Force.
What? Lindsay, come on.
I may have told her to say that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, to maybe switch gears. Are you good with the G6 stuff?
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you. And all these cross-conference games are super important.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a fan of a conference, if you're just a fan of a team, you don't really care, then you don't care. I care. So Hard Rockin' says San Jose State should be 4-1. Looked great last night. Yeah. So they made that kicker change. They said, enough of you, Lynch. You've missed too many damn field goals, and we're done with you. Not that they really needed a field goal kicker last night because they were scoring touchdowns, which is what you want to see. But I've been saying it all season. This offense looks awesome. This passing specifically is amazing. Eget, I was kind of down on him after week one. Just turnovers, he looked a little off.
Got off to a slow start.
Start, but he is on fire right now. Him and Scudero and Smith, and just awesome passing offense. They actually had a good running game. So interestingly, Falk, who was their number one running back, didn't play, and they just said in the pregame or right before the start of the game that he was sitting out, not injury related. We have been told that he may be done for the season, but not injury related. And I'm not going to say anything more than that. You can figure out what that means if you want to. But so they were kind of on their 3, 4, 5 running backs because Bates is injured. And honestly, they look really good. They ran the ball, a nice mix. And yeah, I agree with you. They should absolutely be 4-1, which would keep them in a potential CFP discussion. But they're not.
No.
And mainly because of their kicker, but it is what it is.
What was that? Was it Central Michigan that they lost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stanford.
Yeah.
Those are the two games they should have won.
Yeah. I don't think the losing to Stanford hurts nearly as much at that Central Michigan game. Really. Right. I mean, again, a G6 comparison data point, that was rough.
And not a top level MAC team.
No.
I mean, maybe mid-level,
right,
if I'm being nice.
Yeah.
But hey, as we said, their sights are on a Mountain West championship. They're 1-0 in division with a nice win against an upstart New Mexico team. And they just keep winning in conference, and you'll be in the championship game. And you can't ask for much more than that. So,
yeah, I wanted to add regarding San Jose State. Their bubble was burst as far as if they wanted to compete for that GA6 playoff spot, like we already talked about. However, they still have huge goals ahead of them with getting into the Mountain West championship game, and I mean that would be a huge step forward in year 2. Right. Under Coach Ken, and who has a lot of ties here to Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, a team that plays here.
He's been here a few times.
Yep. I believe we looked at this before, that he was the coach of Navy for my entire 22-year military career. He was either a head coach or an assistant during that entire time. But anyways, San Jose State still has a ton of goals. I mean, if they were just to make the championship game this year, and that's available to them, they're playing their best football as they go into conference play, which that's right where you want to be. And if they were to win the Mountain West, I mean, again, huge. So if you're a San Jose State fan, like I don't let up. Like don't give up on this team because they have a lot of goals in front of them
for sure. And the other game was the Colorado State San Diego State game. I didn't watch very much of this at all. Of course, I didn't see all of either game so that I could be perky this morning when you picked me up and not grumpy.
The coffee had something to do with that.
That helps. Coffee and me get along well. But, I mean, that was, 45-24, I think is what it ended up. Again, just this up and down offense that is the Aztecs. Scoring a ton of points, barely scoring a ton of points. But Colorado State just in shambles right now. I'm not surprised the Aztecs won that game. I am a little surprised that the Rams had 24 points because I took the under. And they showed me they actually can score some touchdowns. But, man, Colorado State's in a bad way. And I'll tell you what, Norvell is – the fans are done.
Yeah.
Totally done. So
I honestly got the feeling from Norvell at media days, like almost like he was done there. Like not that he was like quitting, but that he, kind of realized, hey, like I need to have a good season this season to get a contract extension. And if that doesn't happen and they're not willing to extend my contract, I'm going to be moving on. So it was a lot of the vibe that I got from him, honestly, at media days.
Well, he has one more year. I mean, there's a buyout that they could do after this season, but he's 26. He's still on the contract or has a contract for. We'll see what happens.
Almost no coach wants to go in as lame duck year. Like that's usually the point where you either get extended or you move on.
Lame duck, and nobody wants you there either,
right?
Like,
right.
So maybe that's part of mutual. Being a lame duck. Yeah. So
on the other hand, San Diego State coaches, it's Sean Lewis, right?
Yeah.
That was another coach that we kind of discussed preseason as if they had another bad season, maybe possibly being on the hot seat. And so far, I think they're exceeding expectations pretty well.
Yeah.
Scoring more points. And they did have that 6-3 game, but had some other games where they scored some more points. So I feel like you had Colorado State kind of nailed coming in. I don't know exactly what record you predicted.
I want to say they were 4-8. Yeah. I think I had them at 4-8, and I'm not sure they're going to get there.
Yeah, exactly. But San Diego State was a team you had additional questions on, and they look like they are exceeding probably what you and everyone else thought this year. I mean, they're having a good season so far.
Yeah, and Kerry Lee says, "Well, keep an eye on Matt Entz's Bulldogs. 100%. They've got what I would consider an easier game this evening.
Yeah,
but they are looking really strong. I was kind of on the fence, especially even through the first couple games, but they're looking really good and getting stronger every week.
Yep.
And I agree with you. And I don't remember that name. So Kerry, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Or maybe I just forget your name.
Is it Kerry or Corey? I can't.
I think it's an A.
Okay.
I think it's Kerry.
Okay.
Well, I put my big mug right in the middle of my freaking camera.
Let's both put our heads right now.
Well, no, I couldn't tell if it was an A or an O, and I didn't want to say the wrong. Anyway.
Well, so we talked about the Bulldogs. They moved up in our G6 rankings this last week, if I remember correctly. They kind of continued that positive momentum. And talking about our rankings, if you haven't seen it yet, I had one of the teams that's playing today, Navy, is my number one team. What did they end up? Tied or in the final rankings?
Navy?
Yeah,
was 5.
5. Okay.
I'm not number one team.
Okay. Well, I had them.
Your number 1 was Memphis.
That's right. But Navy moved up a little bit.
Yeah, you had Navy in 3.
That's right.
I had them at 6 or 7, and they averaged to 5.
Yeah. Moving up.
Yeah, Bulldogs were 8. New Mexico was 10, but they're not going to be there again.
Yeah.
And honestly, not a surprise loss.
Right.
Preseason, I would have had San Jose State winning that game, and New Mexico's still looking really good.
Yeah.
Really good. I mean, bowl eligibility absolutely should happen for them, which in a first-year head coach, another big turnover of a program. It was funny because yesterday they were kind of talking about the players. And it's almost like FCS All-Star team.
Yeah.
We just brought a
Yes.
ton of high-level FCS players.
Yeah.
And can show you for kids that have the talent and are coachable and have a good coach what can happen in year one. And I'm so happy for the Lobos, and I hope that continues. I feel like I'm struggling to talk. I swear I haven't drank anything.
Maybe you need to take a sip of.
I think I'm drinking too much sugar.
Well, can I say about the Lobos? Same thing that I said about San Jose State and their fans. Like, don't give up on this team. I mean, they've got a lot of positive momentum going. I think they're exceeding expectations. Young team, new coach. They're probably not going to win the Mountain West this year, but there's a lot of things to root for. I think a lot of reasons to root for the Lobos. So hopefully the fans, because they've had a ton of energy at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Hopefully this loss doesn't take their energy down a peg.
Yeah. I would hope not. I would hope not. I was giggling because we have a 6-7, and then thank you, Hard Rockin', for coming with 8-9.
Okay.
And I'll go 10-11. You know the 6-7 thing?
No.
Okay. You don't want to.
No. Okay. Lindsay, what are you doing to us?
It's some thing on the socials with the kiddies. 6-7. I don't know.
No.
It's a basketball thing, maybe. I don't know. It's best you don't know.
You see all this gray I have in my beard. That keeps me from learning stuff like that.
All right. Well, look, Steve, more players are coming out.
Yeah.
We're going to jogging out onto the field, getting ready for a game. We kick off here in 30 minutes.
Cool.
I'm going to put us on a quick break here, Steve.
Okay.
And we will be right back. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that little break. Steve, let's get back to the game here. Let's give our expectations of, what you think is going to happen in the Air Force at Navy game. I'll let you go first. What do you think we're going to see today?
Well, I think both teams are going to come out in the normal triple option, normal service academy game. And then I think at some point here, Air Force is going to try and take some shots with the passing game. And the question for me is, how long do they stick with that? Because we get into a scenario where Navy is really controlling the clock, controlling the ball. You may see a lot of pressure on the Air Force defense like we've seen in other games. And then also, just how much, does Navy try and pass very much at all? Or do they really just stick with ball control? For me, I think that most likely they're going to stick with ball control as much as they can, unless we start to see Air Force hit some passes, get some things going. We may see a little bit of a change. I'm expecting Navy to win this game. I'm trying not to be biased or anything.
No, don't.
Just from what I've seen this year out of both teams, I'm expecting Navy to win. However, I don't want to repeat myself, but you never know with these service academy games. Air Force traditionally has a really good defense. They've struggled against some other teams this year, but those were passing teams, prolific passing attacks.
Yes.
If their defense can settle in and they know how to play against a triple option team,
right,
it could be way different. So my expectations is for Navy to win and for Air Force to try and get the passing game going. But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think I have much different to offer that. I will say that's my biggest unknown, and what I'm anxious to see is how quickly does Air Force go to the passing game, and is it going to work today against Navy? Because Boise's secondary still kind of the weakness of that defense. Hawaii's defense is good; they're not great, but they're good. And I'm anxious to see if we watch a typical service academy game, or what I think is going to happen, Air Force looking to air it out a lot more than they typically do. But to your point, if it doesn't work, do they abandon that and go back to what they know? That'll be the question, I think, for me.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think what I'm also really interested to see is, let's say they're matching each other, a score for score.
Yeah.
But if Navy is having 6, 7, 8 minute drives, controlling the ball, and Air Force is trying to keep up with them, but they're having shorter drives, does that start to put pressure on their defense, which I think might be part of what we've seen this season? Or, like I said, does their defense really stiffen up, because they're not playing a prolific passing attack?
Yeah, when you look at Horvath, we talked about Zarka earlier, and you talked about Horvath, but his passing numbers are equivalent to what Zarka's are. He's 68% percentage, throwing the ball 38 times, 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, efficient. And then you mentioned the rushers. So you just bring in 3 or 4 different guys, and they can all carry the ball really, really well. So we'll see if the Air Force defense can hold that offense down. And again, I said it earlier, but I took the over 19.5 on Air Force because I think they're going to throw the ball a lot more and stay with throwing the ball more. If they go away from that, I think they're in trouble, and I think my bet is in trouble. So that's our thought. I saw Hard Rock and asked how far our drive was. Only about 2 hours. It's easy drive.
Maybe an hour 45 minutes until we got to the parking lot traffic.
Well, we got here. Steve, as you all know, is a proficient traveler to Happy Valley. And he said there's a certain time of day
got to get in there.
You got to get in before. And we
nailed it.
We got in really good time and got all set up. Didn't have to rush. Parking is about as good as you could hope here for us. We're right outside the stadium. And again, sitting up here on the 50-yard line, kickoff in about 20 minutes. I'm getting excited, Steve.
Me too. I've been excited. I woke up at 4:30 and I've been excited ever since.
Well, I wasn't up at 4:30. But I saw you texting me about an hour before I got up, and I went, oh, I think he's ready.
That's how you know I'm up. When I start texting you early.
Yes, you texted me very early. So just remember, we're going to close this sucker out here in a couple minutes, but we will be back for a halftime show. give you our thoughts on what we saw, maybe talk about if Air Force is changing their game plan or going to continue to try and throw the ball, what we're seeing from the Navy defense, and we'll give you a halftime show. We might do a quick post game, but I know they get into the pressers pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we probably won't do a post game show, live post game show, but we will be back at halftime. Any final comments, Steve?
Well, we're not supposed to cheer in here, so I'm gonna quietly say, "Go Navy."
I'll pat you on the back,
Okay.
and you can just internally be joyful.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
They said I could do a silent fist bump into the air. So
That's what I did in Akron. Even though I was in my own studio,
Yeah.
I still just fist bumped because I didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, thank you guys for joining us. Live pregame show. If you can come back in, hour and a half, whatever it's going to be, we'll love to hear your comments if you're watching the game, and we'll see you then. So thanks so much. Hey, for those that are still on, we were just told we can't do a live halftime show from the press box. So we may do one at the end of the game, but we won't be able to be doing a halftime show. So we'll leave this on here a little bit if you want to watch the pre warm-ups and everything. I'll leave the live stream on for a little bit longer. Thanks, guys.